But that's a whole can of worms. I'm not trying to say that they are right now. Don't feel like we're going to get clipped out of context now. But no, like I do think that they are in that conversation, and I do think rightly so with how they've been playing recently. But the Leona, that was a huge portion of that for Crisp in the first game of this series. Probably going to be taken away by LGD here. And the question for me is honestly, is Rumble on priority still for Breathe? Like, it looked really good in the first game of the series. Does he need to see more before he slams it, or is it just as high priority as it was before?
I feel like unless you see that tank, I'm not sure if you can slam the Rumble, especially with the couple of nerfs that have fallen onto his kit. Light, incredible performance in game number 1. We saw it. They're going to get that Ezreal back onto him as well. Now, you can very easily go with something like a Kai'Sa alongside that Leona. There's a lot of CC backline access. Kai'Sa into the Ezreal is always a favorable matchup as well. We have seen a bunch of Zeri. It does gravitate towards that mid lane as well. So you could potentially see both the Kai'Sa and the Zeri in the same team. One going mid and the other one going bot.
So, Zeri for LGD here. Could be towards that mid lane. We have seen a fair bit of mid lane Zeri, but Shaoye, I think that this is one of his favorite picks, really. So
listen, don't bait me like this. Do not, Haichao, do not bait me like this. Your first hover cannot be Katarina, sir. Please, show some mercy.
I've got some bad news for you here, Trouble. You'll never see a Katarina in the LPL. Not for a million years. Unless Katarina is so overtuned that it's impossible not to play it. She ain't coming back to the LPL.
I don't think there's a player in the LPL that plays Katarina. I know that Shaoye used to be an OTP Katarina back in the day. But I don't think any other pro player has touched the champion.
How long ago is that, though? Is that like... Are we talking so long ago, but it was before the daggers got changed?
Probably. It was even before he became a pro player, or just about as his career was beginning.
I'm trying to remember what Katarina's W used to do before the changes. I mean,
it was the same thing as picking up a dagger, but it was attached to her. She could spin around herself.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. We'll move on. Nearly gonna be bad. I like that Tarzan goes for the Sejuani once again. I feel like it's such a solid pick for him. It's really good for setting up the rest of the team. It's also just another engage tool. I feel like LPL teams always do so much better when they have multiple engage tools available. If you go for like a Nautilus or something alongside this, I feel like this draft is just so easy to execute, and that works so well for a team like Weibo, where they do want to try and push these leads like they did in game 1.
I would actually rather see LGD take away the Nautilus. Things like Nautilus, Vi, Maokai are things that love playing into the Zeri because you've got point-click CC that will follow the Zeri around. And we saw how willing Weibo Gaming were at throwing their bodies on the first sign of CC that went towards the bot side of the map. So we'll see if Weibo Gaming choose to go with something like the Nautilus right here that can very easily reach the Zeri into that backline. Of course, Ezreal does grab pretty well with the Arcane as well. And it's a crisp pick. You can very easily reach that backline with the champion too.
So, the two forms of engage we just talked about, fully locked in now for Weibo. Xiaoye, you're going to be taking the Zeri down bot side. We need to see what the answer is up top, but once again, Burdol has to go for a blind pick here. And that gives Breathe all of the options in the world to answer. I'm just saying Yasuo is a classic Gnar counter. I'm just throwing it out there, Breathe. Just letting you know. But I don't think we're going to see the Yasuo
Camille. I kind of want to see the Camille. It works really well with Sejuani. Jax does too. It's just that Camille diving into the backline with the Rakan has extra potential for engage right there. But it's a classic Breathe pick to see him onto the Jax versus the Gnar. And I'm not going to lie to you, I like this version of LGD a lot more. You can get pushed through mid and through top, so Meteor actually has lanes and sides of the map that he can play through.
Feels like a pretty skill-expressive comp here from Weibo, doesn't it? With the Jax up the top side with Light on that Ezreal once again, Crisp on the Rakan as well. I feel like there's a lot of space for them to play their game. But they're up against a composition that has a mighty powerful team fight on it from LGD. Like, Gnar is always one of those champions that when it comes to team fighting in the right situation, can really flip things around. Zeri a similar thing, Brand a similar thing, and you've got that hard engage of the Leona. So definitely not a composition that can be counted out by any stretch.
Absolutely, but on the other side, you've got Weibo with so much self-agency in every single one of their champions. They can split LGD apart and never give them that death ball that they're looking for with the big Brand wombo combo on the Leona that you mentioned. So let's see if Weibo can dance around LGD for one more game.
We'll see if they can. LGD, they could only afford one game loss. But they've already had that loss now. LGD, they have to win every single game remaining of the split, including this one, if they want to make it straight into playoffs. If they lose this game, they will have to go through that extra best of 5 to try and qualify into the first round. Let's see if they can do it up against Weibo. Some potent Jiaos there, especially Weibo fans. Breathe, not even fishing for his 1 gold. I feel like that's a, you know, you could get your gold advantage right from the word go.
Is he on the skin? He has to be Fisherman Jax, right?
Do you know, I actually never knew that was only Fisherman Jax. I thought that was just Jax.
I think it's only for Fisherman Jax. I might be wrong.
Is it really? That's so incredibly pay to win.
I might be so wrong. I might be so wrong.
Damn, I never knew that. I can believe it. I can believe it. Well, either way. We'll see what happens to this one. I'm curious as LGD actually going to leash in the jungle. It's a while since I've seen that in pro play. Meteor's getting a leash from Shaoye and JinJiao. Maybe just accepting that there's no way they're getting prio pot, and so just saying, hey, might as well give our jungler a slightly faster start. Does mean he gets through that red buff pretty quick. They're back in time for XP. I mean, what do you reckon? Like, I can't remember the last time I saw a leash in pro play, honestly.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I was actually searching for the Jax thing. Just to make sure. I think it's on every skin. I couldn't find solid evidence, but from what I saw online in general, it's just any Jax that sits AFK basically in the river gets the chance to fish.
Yeah, that's fine.
1 gold.
Okay.
Oh, crisp.
Nice little sidestep there from Xiaoye and JinJiao. Both of them going in either direction. Nothing going to happen too much in this bottom lane to start us off. So we'll keep our eyes on these junglers. So how much did the leash make a difference? Meteor is already on his wolves, slightly outpacing that of Tarzan, but I feel like Brand just always will outpace a Sejuani, so I'm not entirely sure that was down to the leash specifically. But a ward is there in the jungle, so Meteor now spotted. Full information for Tarzan to play with. But I don't think there's really much he's going to be looking to do on the map right now.
Most importantly, that information is very crucial for Breathe up the top side of the map. As you can see, he has pushed that lane, so he's at a very gankable state, and the wave being right where he is right now kind of sucks for Tarzan. He needs to make sure that he pushes that in. Now, little reminder, 14-14. Jax's Counter-Strike was nerfed in terms of a cooldown. There has been added another 2 seconds on the Counter-Strike cooldown, which means a lot of the patterns that you're taking in lane have to be way more careful when using that ability with Jax, which is one of the abilities that wins him a lot of the early games, pushing up, pressing Counter-Strike, pushing down the wave, whilst not allowing your opponent to trade onto you. So now, this has changed just a little bit with a slight nerf. Meteor still towards the top side.
Meteor moves up. The wave did crash enough for Breathe that it's pushing back in towards him now. So Burdol, the one, stepped up. And with Meteor recalling in his brush, I think he's quite happy to step up and try and push this wave in. I don't think there's much Breathe can really do about it. Both junglers just going to go for a reset. Very deep vision, though. One on chickens, one on Krugs. Great vision for the side of Weibo, especially for the spot lane. They could push with impunity.
And it's very important for them as well. Rakan, even though slippery, a very, very squishy champion, and Leona, it's kind of a direct counter. You dive forward onto Leona, you've got 2 types of CC to pin you down. Lots of damage coming through the Zeri as well, especially if you've got a Brand around as well. So great wards right there, as you mentioned, from Weibo Gaming. Not only do they keep them safe, but they also give them constant information about where Meteor is on the map. You definitely do not want to be face checking this brand when you're going for any type of gank or pressure on the map if you're Tarzan. So great information gathering right there, and Weibo Gaming are playing game number 2 much slower than they did game number 1. They're taking their trades slowly, pushing down their lanes and just gathering information for the time being.
I think they're okay with this one. Keeping my eyes on Crisp as well to see if he does try and find a way to influence the game a little bit more later on. Tarzan
Talking about face checking.
Moving in is just going to look for a 1v1 versus Meteor. Big damage coming out on that Sejuani. And manages to dodge the Seer as well. He even drops a laugh on him! Tarzan! You can't be doing that in a pro game, surely not. Oh my days, Tarzan just absolutely destroying Meteor in the jungle. Destroying his self-confidence as well. They jump on top, the stunts come through, and there's Crisp on the roam as well. Burdol underneath the tower. Tarzan might just sacrifice his life to make it happen. Doesn't even need to. Walks away, drops the laugh on him. This is Tarzan's Rift.
That was such a clean dive by Weibo Gaming, and the usual suspect Crisp makes his way all the way to that top side of the map, giving the advantage this time around to Breathe, one of his signature champions, which is that Jax. Jax later on scaled on a side lane, one of the biggest menaces on the Rift that you can find. So definitely want to be accelerating that scaling aspect of the champion. Why not as early as 6 minutes into the game? Fade's now completed an extra longsword and boots, as well as a control ward in Breed's inventory. Weibo Gaming are not giving up. They're going to give up for now. Just focus on pressure in that mid lane and give up the Krugs.
Quite happy for LGD to get the grubs. They'll go towards the Drake instead. Tarzan, though, this is after the 1v1, spots the fact that Meteor hasn't immediately committed, so he moves towards Burdol, then Meteor moves up. Tarzan just gets his angle to immediately go for that engage.
That's a perfect timing as well. Burdol is still level 5. He's not hit level 6. Doesn't have the bar anyway. But still, if he did have that level 6, potentially there was maybe an opening right there for an outplay. You saw JinJiao also moving towards the top side of the map. So they could be looking for anything. It's not going to be the case. Burdol is not going to waste his flash. Knew he was dead to rights right there. And after all this chain of events, LGD are going to sneak into that top side as Tarzan is taking an objective down bot lane, getting that dragon for Weibo Gaming. That's the nature of things when you're playing the farming jungler versus a ganking jungler. The second the ganking jungler moves off and starts taking objectives or showing up on the map in terms of a gank, you can very easily just take away their jungle. Tarzan's going to focus on the red buff. Sooner or later, Meteor will find him.
Although Meteor is currently on the chickens, so he's distracted. He does it pretty damn quick. Tarzan has that smite available. I think he'll get this just about in time. With the smite there, he will be able to grab it. Meteor, I think he knows something's going on. Xiaohu was missing from mid, but it's too little too late. He knew something was up, but it still finds him anyway. Xiaohu dives over to finish that kill. JinJiao and Shaoye moving over to try and punish, but Crisp is here as well. Xiaohu dives bot side of the play. True Shot Barrage comes in. Xiaohu gets a jump, flashes away. Shaoye trying to chase him through the jungle here, but in the meantime, the rest of the team is falling apart. Xiaohu is somehow still alive. He's trying to get over to the rest of his team. Crisp moving over as fast as he can, but the skill shots from Zeri will find the kill and shut down Weibo's mid laner.
Finally, a kill going over to the side of LGD. 2 of them, to be specific. Both cashed in on that bot side of the map. Xiaohu survived for so long. Great setup right there again from Weibo Gaming. A little bit of that aggression that we saw over in game number 1 coming through here as well. Tarzan on that Sejuani, a beast to actually be feared. He sees jumping, he engages jumping. Even though they spoil Xiaohu, he's not necessarily sure of where Tarzan's whereabouts are. But if you see it, Tristana pulled that far up, you know there is backup. The backup came through for LGD right here as well. And Xiaohu, I think he plays that as well as possible. He uses the blast gun to get out of any range from the Zeri. And Shaoye has to commit his flash to chase Xiaohu down.
I feel like Xiaohu kind of betrayed his team a little bit there. I think if he just goes in with them and just stays as part of the group, maybe they just one shot faster and then they have numbers advantage, even if he goes down. I'm not sure. Either way, ends up being a 2 for 2 overall. It's Burdol just quite grab Breathe. JinJiao was moved up as well, but Didn't quite get the angle. It's a bit of a lead for Weibo so far, and most of that lead in the pockets of both Xiaohu and Breathe. The solo lanes off to a great start. Tarzan being the one that got both of his solo laners ahead. Shaoye tries to find a chance onto line. Doesn't find it. Spots Xiaohu, backs away.
And look at that incredible vision again towards the top side of the map. The entire top corner of Meteor's jungle lit up. Let's look at this replay over again, because it's actually Breathe that engages onto this fight, clears the wave with the counter-strike damage, and then gets chased off. Nothing's gonna happen. Burdol's ult is going to miss. And that's all she wrote for the time being. Again, I want to commend, honestly, the vision that Weibo Gaming have every single time they play through a side of the map. The top side was lit. Now, Weibo Gaming is going to focus mainly towards the bot side of the map. About 2 minutes time. The next dragon's coming up. We've got Rift Herald in 3 minutes too. So you'll see Tarzan slowly but surely get some control towards that top side. You've got a bunch of vision towards that bot as well. Crispy's going to hold on to that wave, and Tarzan is going to start the objective.
So it'll be 3 groups apiece, assuming nothing happens here. LGD know what's going on here. Haichao tries his best to steal one away. Tarzan holds his nerve and doesn't go for the smite, but he will be forced out the back of the pit. And with Meteor moving over, this could be 5 groups actually for LGD. So nice little punish there by Haichao to make sure Tarzan can't get anything for free in this one with the smite there. That will be 5 groups. So LGD, a good little advantage for them. Still a minute until the Drake comes up. So nothing really to trade for Weibo either.
But look at this. Crisp is already sneaking in. Knowing that enemies towards the top side of the map, he sneaked in, put down the control ward. A ward that could definitely be used by Breathe on a flank TP from that Jax that has completed that 384, 50 seconds from Dragon, as you mentioned. And even though 5 Void Grabs are great, you've got a Gnar and a Cork on a sideline that could be melting through those towers. Weibo Gaming, all they need is one team fight to break the game completely open. Ooh, very important for Meteor to actually find that ward right here and take it down.
Good presence of mind there from Meteor. And I think after the previous play as well, understandable why he's kind of paranoid about deep wards and about these kind of sneaky plays that Weibo keep going for. I do wonder how replicable this kind of play will be for Weibo when it comes to playoffs, when it comes to bigger series. But we'll talk about that another time, as nothing happens. Maybe we could talk about that now. I feel like a lot of these plays from Weibo, when it comes to playing off of a deep ward, or it comes to like finding an invade off of the back of early vision, like it's pretty researchable that the team does this, you know, when you're going up against a team that's done this a lot.
Ooh.
He can maybe play around that and play around tendencies and attempt on Haichao, but he will survive. And that was Tarzan's flash and ultimate. That should be Drake for LGD, I think.
Yeah, that was a lot committed by Tarzan right there. Reminder, they are still pretty strong, and they do have Breathe with TP. However, he is getting a little bit slapped around by Burdol.
I don't think he's TPing anytime soon. Forced a flash by Burdol. Okay, Breathe gonna go back to base. Might have to just TP back into his own lane, to be honest. And so Burdol has TP advantage if that does go through.
Yeah, definitely LGD putting up a fight right here. Burdol, great stuff towards the top side of the map. He's 400 gold down, but forces both summoners out of Breathe, giving clear advantage towards that both side of the map from LGD. No flash on Breathe or Tarzan. No ultimate onto both of them as well. Definitely an opportunity for LGD to get into this river and potentially look for a fight if Weibo Gaming want to try and contest.
I mean, with TP advantage, surely Weibo don't go for a contest on this one. They will just concede that and give over the Drake. Breathe got a bit of tower on the a bit of time on the tower top lane. Say that 3 times fast. But in the meantime as well, Light managed to crash a wave on the bot lane as well. So LGD missing a couple of waves for it, but I think they'll be happy with the Drake.
Absolutely, stopping the stacking right there from Weibo Gaming. And every single time you move out of one side of the map, Crisp is already on the other, making plays. This time around, there's not going to be any wards placed onto the top side of Meteor's quadrant. However, there is going to be the Rift Herald that's up and available. It is going to be LGD first in river. They set up a bunch of vision around this as well, and Weibo Gaming will be looking for the big wombo combo, big items already completed. The only ones without a major item are this Nar and Corki that are looking for the first Trinity 4. So Weibo Gaming definitely with an item advantage here if they want to take this fight.
Oh, Xiaoye trying to find light. Flash forced by JinJiao here. Xiaoye stacking that ultimate, but that will now go on cooldown. Just as Herald spawned onto the map, Tarzan has his ultimate available again and immediately blasts it towards JinJiao. The light goes wide on a Mystic shot, but I don't think it matters too much. TP behind the lines here as Tarzan gets a blast cone, knocks Meteor back into the fray, and Light grabs himself a second for the fight. Flash forwards on towards Xiaoye here. Tarzan goes down, but so does Xiaoye. Burdol's TP gets nothing, and Xiaohu's still pushing.
Burdol's TP was great, but his Mininar, he's not as threatening when he shows up in this form, and Xiaohu is just looking there to let the minions die to the tower, do as much damage as possible, letting all that golden experience die away to the tower right before he takes the tower down. Every single one of the creeps from this wave died. Again, one of the side lane gods that we have over in the LPL knows exactly how to handle not only the wave, but the pressure. And once again, Light 3-0-1 on this edge where we have the same story unfolding. Shaoye tries to get a trade right here, will pop his ultimate, trying to take a trade onto Light. A nice flash from JinJiao, but insta reply from Light. And from there on out, you do not have much. Shaoye is super low on HP. Has the summoners, but Leona pushing a little bit too far forward. Great ultimate right there from Chris. The TP comes through, but again, it's just a Mininar. So Weibo Gaming just walked up forward.
I love that from Tarzan as well, popping the blast cone so that he can bring one with him. Xiaoye goes down to the flank. That's a second kill for Breathe as well. He's scaling, and that's a scary concept to go up against. Both Triforce users on the side of Weibo are the ones with bounties right now, as Meteor will grab himself that skull crab. No reset on the jump from Xiaohu, but he'll still walk away with his life. This has felt a little bit tense between the two teams. LGD don't want to go down without a fight. They don't want to go down 0-2. But Weibo are just gradually building themselves this lead. It's starting to snowball in their favor, and it feels like every time LGD steps up, they're getting out-traded.
Yeah, mind you, in the game number 1, Chris was able to walk up in LGD's face and make the plays because he was tanky. He was playing that Leona himself. Right now, he doesn't quite have that agency with the Rakan. If he gets caught out of position, he dies very quickly. He's playing a very evasive but squishy champion. As Tarzan right Shelly over to that tower. They're not going to quite take that tower yet. However, they've taken a pretty huge chunk. So when LGD are caught onto resets, Weibo Gaming have a chance to take that mid lane tier 1 tower.
Just pressuring all 3 lanes as well, right? Xiaohu pushing in the bottom side. You could see Breathe pushing up top before he went for that reset. Weibo just in control of the map for now. Tarzan dives underneath the tower. Chris follows it up as well. The damage is there, and Xiaohu's behind enemy lines. What? Explosions galore. The Demolitionist comes out from the jungle and finishes one. They couldn't see him because he's got jungle camo on. Look at his hat, his beret, his jungle colored. How could they see this coming?
Complete camouflage by Xiaohu coming in. Tarzan diving through walls. Xiaohu playing between tier 1 and tier 2. Weibo Gaming are confident in this game. 2,000 gold lead in the mid lane. Tarzan's looking for more. Haichao's gonna dive away. No more is gonna be that 1.6k gold diff in the top lane, 2.1 in the mid lane, 1k down bot. All carries of Weibo Gaming are up and running on all cylinders.
Certainly are. Light has yet to really capitalize in the fact that, you know, he's got that first item. So does his opponent. It's when that Mana Moon really kicks in, that's where Israel's going to become absolutely terrifying. Great engage from Tarzan, great flank from Xiaohu. And that's the power of controlling your side lanes. Xiaohu crashes a massive wave onto the tier 2 and gets a free flank, basically, onto his opponents.
I think it was mainly the hat. He was camouflaged.
I mean, that helped as well, definitely. There's no two ways about it.
Sure.
Crawling through the jungle underneath the netting and whatever.
With a big cannon in hand, yeah.
I've got to say, like, of all of the players in the LPL, I feel like Xiaohu is most qualified to run Omega Squad skins because, like, there's no way this guy doesn't have some PTSD from the amount of intense matches he's been in, the amount of teams he's been on. He's a veteran of a different kind than perhaps Tristana is.
And then more iconic duo Crisp and Deep Woods into enemy jungle. You don't have to wonder where he is. He's definitely in your jungle and definitely very deep in it. Oh my god, he's on the flank. All right, they're gonna find this wood. Meanwhile, top lane Burdol, he's been trying his hardest. He's down in gold. JinJiao.
Yeah. Top lane, they're still fighting and trading for tier 1s. And in the meantime, down at the bottom side of the map, Haichao is being dived under the tier 2. Tarzan takes just the right amount. That is immaculate from Tarzan. As Xiaohu now trying to escape, but Shaoye might be able to find the punish here. Xiaohu gets caught by the zap, it slows him down. And it's a huge shutdown into the pocket of Shaoye. A punish here from LGD.
A little bit too far from Weibo Gaming, and LGD slap those hands. Taking gold into very, very important pockets. You need gold onto the Brand and the Zeri to get them back into the game. And now JinJiao on the flank. They're looking for Breathe.
He's just committing for the tower. I mean, Breathe just sacrifices his life, even flashes to try and get out. I don't think he realized quite how many players were up here to deal with him. But hey, got the tier 2, I guess.
Tower to sacrifice his life. Again, a lot of gold has fluctuated towards the Brand in the last 1 minute. He's cashed out onto 2 kills. And Weibo Gaming, even though they're very confident right here, a bit of an overextension. Sure, they can kill JinJiao, but then they get... Oh dear. Well, they'll kill him again.
Oh dear,
Deja vu.
I mean, JinJiao has tried to do what Crisp did in game number 1. He's been everywhere. It's just, unfortunately, he's died everywhere instead of setting up massive plays everywhere.
Did you say he's doing a Tangyuan?
You could say he's doing a Tangyuan. Except the difference is LGD don't seem to be diving in alongside him like RNG were earlier.
Very true.
Oh, that was a series, wasn't it? If you missed that one, guys, I don't know whether I would recommend watching it. It was messy. If you like really messy, chaotic League of Legends, go watch IG versus RNG. If not, stick around here and watch this Baron go down as Weibo finally engage onto Burdol. He can't move. Meteor can't move either. Weibo just eviscerating. No, they're not. The combo comes through. The burn is there. Shaoye stacking up as well as Breathe tries to get onto the back line. Xiaohu has to carry. He jumps towards Shaoye. He's got the DPS. The Kraken Slayer not quite enough as Breathe finds the mid laner. Xiaohu saves the day. That's a reset coming through from Burdol. And the solo laners survive.
That was so close. Crisp takes the Brand ult back to his entire team, and he almost spells disaster. We literally just mentioned how much gold got inflated onto Meteor's side. Let's watch this again. Crisp gets a fantastic flank. CC onto the Brand. Tarzan lands as well, and you'll see the ult. He takes it back onto his entire team. Absolute disaster. The first whoopsie that we've seen from Crisp. Everyone burns down, but the hero Weibo Gaming deserves. Xiaohu, who didn't necessarily had a fantastic spring, but over here in summer, he's showing up and showing off to carry this team fight.
I mean, he didn't even have a good start to summer. I don't know where this has come from. I don't know where it went, but
it's starting right now, Munch.
Both Scout and Xiaohu having terrible summers, but then terrible spring, sorry, and then in summer they seem to be back once again.
Wait, we're back.
LGD, they've got to try and face check this one. Baron on the cards. Weibo already down to 2k. This is going to be Baron taken. Meteor tries to get in, but it's smited. JinJiao's lost all of his health just trying to face check in. He'll go down to Light to start the fight off. And Burdol on the flank is just getting murdered. True shot barrage hits 3 again. Light, he just doesn't miss, does he? Breathe finds a stun as they look to set him up. They were letting him have that 4th kill. Are they going to go for a little bit more on this one? Tarzan dives into the base. Light's not interested. He's gone to the mid lane. Tarzan trying to be a pro. Light's having none of it.
Light has the objective of just winning the game. You see Tarzan laughing as well. He's like, I tried, bro, but you were literally halfway across the screen. No Trusha Barrage available on Weibo Gaming with a very decisive fight, finding every single target. Now Baroned up. They haven't reset yet. They need to go back to reset, cash in all of this gold from the fight and the Baron as Breathe is taking down the last outer tower remaining for LGD.
like no emotion on his face while all of that was going on as well, by the way. He's a robot sent back from the future to hit Qs and push minion waves. He doesn't care about pentakills. All he cares about is victory. We'll reset now with Baron in pocket. Drake fairly inconsequential because I'm not sure that Weibo intend for this game to go that much longer than 9,000 gold up. Let's take another look as JinJiao really tried to force the fight, but there was no follow-up.
Xiaohu was just tanking him the whole time, just taking him down. And then the entirety of LGD just kept walking in one by one. Again, one of the bigger fights that they won was when they allowed Weibo Gaming to walk into them as a unit, and then they used Meteor's brand as a huge explosion to take down a bunch of targets that were grouped up. And I'm not gonna lie, Crisp did help a little bit with that one. On that front. However, that was the way they were winning fights. If they're too split apart, that means Weibo is too split apart, and they cannot use their wombo combo.
It's so tough when they won't group up for you to hit all of your big circle ultimates, you know?
Yeah.
It's just inconsiderate of them, really.
Again, Crisp tried his best in the previous fight. It just wasn't good enough.
The funny thing is, this game started fairly slow compared to the last one. Like, we had the first, I don't know, 5 minutes or something without any kills or anything. Now we are well beyond a kill a minute as the two teams have been going toe-to-toe. And Weibo, they've gone from, if you remember Weibo in spring, they were like the slowest team in the league. They were competing with LNG for the title. They were so boring to watch. They were so inconsistent. They've come back, they've turned it on, and the pressure they are playing with against LGD today is beautiful. Breathe forced the flash on the top side. JinJiao trying to follow up for a little bit more. Crisp forced away as well as Light escapes and continues to blast that damage out. Everybody walks away. Xiaohu continues to try and pressure in the bottom side, but unfortunately, the wave wasn't there at the time. Tarzan moves in. Xiaohu doesn't even need the stun from the orbit. The bomb isn't quite enough. Haichao will survive as Tarzan looks for a little bit more onto Meteor, and they'll find it this time. Light going underneath the Nexus towers to get that extra bit of damage in. That's 2 inhibs.
And they've taken down the #1 threat on the side of LGD, which is this brand. Weibo Gaming definitely equipped to push forward for the victory.
They certainly are. Pressure on pressure here from Weibo Gaming. It's only 27 minutes into the game, but that's not going to stop them as they look towards the Nexus. 3 men remain for LGD. They've got to try and hold on. This is their last chance of making it straight into playoffs. This is their last chance of not getting knocked out, but Weibo may have been deterred here. Burdol steps on forwards, but he might have stepped too far forwards. He overcommitted. He didn't realize that they were not afraid to turn it back around. You thought they were leaving. They're going nowhere. Weibo are here to finish the job. Shaoye dives into the back line and just gets taken apart. Xiaohu diving onto the fountain as the Nexus will finally be laid bare. And Weibo go positive in the group with a 4-3 scoreline.
Everyone playing with their food at the end. Light, committed to the cause in the damn Nexus, finishing the game. And what a clean and decisive 2-0 from Weibo Gaming. You expect nothing else from a team that wants to show that they're consistent. We know they can be good, but can they be consistent? Against a team that was 0-5 and now 0-6, they proved just that. They can pull it through throughout the entire series, no matter the team comp and no matter the champs.
And you know, Weibo should have been a heavy favorite coming in today. There's no two ways about it. But you know, actually in the standings, Weibo were in 7th, LGD were in 8th. Even though it's 3-3 versus 0-5,